The following program is an original production of WICC PBS Chicago.
The governor finally reveals his new plan for a state budget. It means more income tax paying, but a possible break in your property taxes.
And a century-old settlement house is providing new opportunities for new immigrants in Chicago.
Plus, we take you inside the Cook County Jail and talk to the man in charge. All of these stories and more on In the Loop.
Good evening, I'm Barbara Pinto.
And I'm Chris Bury. Tonight, we get a first-hand look at the country's largest lockup, the Cook County Jail.
And we talk one-on-one with Sheriff Tom Dart.
He and his guards keep a close eye on some of the most dangerous criminals in America.
Decades of chronic overcrowding have put the jail in the national spotlight and under the watchful eye of the U.S. Justice Department.
But Sheriff Dart says the jail has also become the Chicago area's institution of last resort for the mentally ill, and that is becoming a chronic and expensive problem. The imposing structure at 26th and California, ringed with razor wire, is the biggest jail at one location in the country. Just walking inside the main entrance can be intimidating. But the jail that holds hardened criminals and first-time offenders, nearly all of them awaiting trial, is also serving as the nation's biggest mental hospital, according to county officials. In this mental health division, inmates spend much of their day shuffling around a large dormitory. It's where we met 46-year-old Russell. We can't report his last name or his alleged crime for legal reasons. Here, he's being treated for bipolar depression and borderline schizophrenia. Russell told us he realized he was mentally ill when someone was beating him with a baseball bat.
What man would invite me and stand there for approximately half hour and get beat with a bat, not do anything and enjoy it?
You enjoyed getting beat with a bat?
Yeah, I actually did. It felt like I needed to be punished for everything I was doing wrong. From when I was little, from being molested, from being prostituting, from stealing, robbing.
What impact do mental health issues have on the job?
An extreme impact.
Assistant Executive Director Nika Jones, a psychologist, leads a jail mental health team that provides counseling and medication to more than 3,000 inmates.
And with that number, we've had to increase the training, the mental health training of our correctional staff, as well as hire more mental health professionals to provide the treatment that's needed.
The need for such treatment at the jail is growing. In the last 2 years, Chicago has shut down half of its 12 neighborhood mental health clinics. The state has cut back services too. Some detainees tell us they have no place to go for their needed medications but jail.
There used to be a mental health department right down the street from me on 63rd Street. Now they've closed that up and they have moved down on 43rd Street. So, with me being unemployed and having no income, it's hard for me to get down there.
Jail officials say the mentally ill make up a sizable share of the inmate population, now nearly 9,000. Chicago's long and brutal winter may have succeeded in staving off the jail's perennial overcrowding. But a recent lawsuit from current and former inmates made headlines with sensational allegations that violence at Cook County Jail is pervasive and that in many cases, guards are to blame.
You're locked up in Cook County, and if a guard says to you, I'm taking you on an elevator ride, what that means is that guard's going to put you in the elevator out of the view of cameras, out of the view of witnesses, and just beat you down like a free-for-all.
The suit filed by the MacArthur Justice Center at Northwestern University claims that jail guards have beaten handcuffed detainees and instigated fights among inmates. But county officials, including Sheriff Dart, have dismissed the allegations as frivolous. They point out that none has been confirmed by federal monitors who oversee conditions at the jail. But the MacArthur Center claims Cook County has paid out more than $9 million in lawsuits stemming from civil rights violations. One detainee told us he is more fearful of fellow inmates than guards. Do you feel safe here?
No.
Why?
A lot of threats, a lot of everything going on. A lot of gang banging, all that.
And as for Russell, a Chicagoan who has been in and out of jail for much of his adult life, the mental health treatment at Cook County Jail has been a bright spot. Now that he's getting regular treatment and medication, the 46-year-old looks forward to a better future.
I want to be normal. I want to be walking to the job. I want to be able to do it, have a job. I've never had a full-time job. I've never been able to function with people, normal people.
Joining us from his office in the Cook County Jail, Sheriff Tom Dart. Sheriff, you've just won a primary on your way to a third term, so congratulations on that. Let's get politics out of the way right off the bat. At one point, when Mayor Daley retired, you considered running. Would you consider running against Rahm Emanuel for mayor of Chicago in 2015?
You know, the thing that kept me from it the first time hasn't changed too much. My family's still very, very young, and I enjoy being a good dad more than anything else. And though this job's real demanding in 10, 11-hour days, I, by and large, have my weekends with my kids all the time, and I don't like government more than I love my family.
Well, as you say, you do have a demanding job. Spring is finally here, and in Chicago, unfortunately, that usually means a spike in crime rates and a spike in the jail population. How close are you to capacity here at the jail?
This past winter, I'll be honest with you, because of the severity of it, our population dropped significantly. It always does, but it dropped more than it had recently. So we have a little bit more of a cushion right now than we had definitely last year, for sure. So I am thinking that for the coming year, we should be okay as long as we don't get a crime spike like we had 2 years ago. If we had that, then all bets are off.
Your capacity here is about 10,000.
It's about 10,000.
And how close are you to that right now?
Right now I'm about 8,500, and I have capacity for about another 500 or 600 in downstate beds as well. So I probably have a good 2,000 beds that I could use right now that are empty.
You could use 2,000 beds. What would improve the capacity of the jail? Should Cook County build another jail?
No. I mean, really, the thoughtful approach here would be to direct the attention at where, I'll be honest, where I've been pointing my finger at for the last 4 or 5 years, which is to get our arms around the mental health population that's housed in the jail. I mean, not only should they not be there, I mean, it's an embarrassment, and it ought to be.
Well, they should be there if they've committed crimes. They've been arrested?
The vast majority of them are in on these crimes that I don't think any sane person would suggest are in any ways jeopardizing the republic. I mean, these are minor offenses that are more indicative of someone who's mentally ill.
Such as?
Oh, a retail theft, routinely. We have them in here all the time for stealing something. Possession of narcotics. Frequently these days it's heroin because it's the next best thing to having the prescription drugs that they can't get, and it's a lot cheaper. So those are the majority of them. Now, do we have bad people in here who are also mentally ill? Yeah, we do, but that's the smaller group of them, and they need to be held here. But for this other population, not only is it the humane thing to not to have them here, but fiscally, it gives me the bed space to put the bad people in.
How many of your inmates here are mentally ill?
About 3,500 of the 10,000.
So that's 1 in 3.
Yeah.
Basically.
And that's a conservative estimate, and the reason it's not as precise as you may want it is A, there's a lot of transient population here. I mean, people come and go frequently, A. And B, the diagnosis is a conservative diagnosis. So if you're being diagnosed as being mentally ill at this place, you really are. There's no doubt about it. There's other people that probably are more marginal that could be fit in under some people's definition. So we think the number is higher, but conservatively to say about a third.
So 3,500, you're in effect running a mental health hospital here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we run either the largest or the second largest in the country. If you just analyzed it the way you should, the mental health population, we're the largest.
Do some of your inmates, do some of them actually commit crimes so they'll come in here, get the medications and the treatment that they
Absolutely.
need?
I have them frequently talk to me about how they don't want to leave. This is where they're best taken care of. It's warm. They get their medication. They get fed. No one beats them up. No one targets them out on the street. We've had people, when they've left, try to break back in.
But the county can't really afford it, and the state, as you know, is closing mental health facilities. It's going to close more this year. So what to do?
Well, I would tell you, maybe a little bit of intellectual honesty. Maybe the state should come out and say, listen, we don't care about mentally ill people, so we're shutting everything down.
That's not going to happen.
No, but people should be honest in this world. I mean, the reason the public dislikes politicians so much, and they should, is they lie so frequently, and they obfuscate, and they make everything up where no one ever does anything wrong. And I am so tired of that. People need to step up and be adults and say, listen, if we are concerned about populations, we're going to fund it. If we don't fund it, let's just come out and say we don't care, because it's the same thing. And the point I've been trying to make to people, it would cost so much less. And set aside the humane part of it. It would fiscally be so much smarter to just case manage these people when they leave. Work on just basic housing. I'm not saying let's buy people houses, but I rent beds at numerous locations. We could do that. We could follow up with them to make sure they stay in their meds. And so say even if we just keep them out of here for an additional 3 months, we've saved the system countless thousands of dollars. So there are ways fiscally to do this without anyone crazy saying we need to build 5 more hospitals, we got to staff all of them. No. Case managing the majority of them in the community will work.
On the population here, you woke up to the front pages not long ago of a lawsuit filed by a group of lawyers associated with Northwestern University. They're accusing the jail of having a sadistic culture of violence. You have basically tried to throw cold water on that lawsuit. Why?
Because they made it up. I mean, what do you think would happen if you mass mailed the jail and say, listen, are you interested, detainee, in suing the sheriff and maybe getting money? That's what they did. They mass mailed 300 people in the jail. What do you think's going to happen?
Well, the lawyers say that the jail or the county has settled millions of dollars in lawsuits on civil rights violation in the last few years. So is there some fire where there's smoke?
No, I'm working with the Department of Justice. I have the Department of Justice in the jail, in the divisions that they have said all these horrible things are going on. And think about these people for 1 second. If they were as concerned as they were about their clients, they apparently knew this information about these horrible conditions for 1.5 years. And guess how many people they informed about this? None. Did they go to a judge? No. Did they go to the public defender's office? No. Did they come to us? No. Did they go to the Department of Justice, who's already here, and say these bad things are happening? No. They didn't go to one person. Can you imagine that? And why would they do that? Why would they do that? Well, it's going to hurt their lawsuit. I mean, this is so fantastic. It's a fictional account that they put together that has me a little bit upset with it. I'm an attorney, and there's times where I'm embarrassed to tell people that. Because here's something where if these folks were sincere in what they were talking about, they could clearly have worked with the Department of Justice, who's already working out here with me. We have federal monitors out here.
Sheriff, on that note, we are running shy on time, so thank you very much for
Thanks so much.
appearing with us today.
Thanks for coming out.
Mm-hmm.